Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Polly Podcast. As you all should know by now, the written versions of these episodes can be found on Pollyverse.com in the blog section, and also I've started streaming a little bit on Pollyverse's Twitch account at twitch.tv/Pollyverse, where you can find me writing away at the book, at a book, maybe multiple books, with the help of Twitch chat and interactive audience. So let's begin today's episode. Number 12 already. Hitting 12. I'm wondering if we're going to make it to 100. That'd be incredible. I'm really hoping. I'm hoping we get to thousands, but 100 is an awesome goal. We're over 10% of the way there, so that feels really good. And today we are continuing our discussion on Spam's Apprentice Poetry Anthology, which was last week's episode before the interview with Rhett, if you remember. What a wonderful interview that was. Or I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just saying what a wonderful episode that was. I had so much fun talking to Rhett, my old friend of quite a few years now. He's a good boy, and that was it was great to get some of his insight on a lot of different things and to just talk properly without the distraction of a video game or something between us. But yeah, so today's episode is about Spam's Apprentice Poetry Anthology, but it is not about the previous poem, Prerequisites, that I already talked about. It's about another poem called Trump Tackles Sugar. There's the book again for reference by good old Spam Press. Going to mention them a few times on this podcast for sure. And I was actually lucky enough to have 2 poems published in this thing, which is awesome. And this one falls on the very first page. So I'm super stoked with that. When I got it in my hands, I was like, oh my God, the first page. Oh no, I just noticed something. I'm not going to say that. A typo. I just noticed a typo in the story or in the poem literally yesterday as I was writing the blog post for this episode. I noticed a typo and I didn't catch it in the print. So, hey, if you want one of these, if you want to get one from Spam's website, I'll leave a link to it. Oh no, have I forgotten what the link was? I'll find one right now. spamzine.co.uk. There we go. I had it in my docs. I'll leave links as well, of course, because you can download digital copy. There may be some physical copies left. You never know. If you live near me, I may lend you this. Simply ask. So the second poem, Trump Tackles Sugar. You can imagine what that means in relation to the Apprentice theme. Obviously, it's a zine based on the Apprentice television show. A zine? No, it's an anthology. What am I saying? An anthology of poetry from a lot of different contributors. And Donald Trump was obviously the presenter, the host, the billionaire for the US, the United States of America version of The Apprentice. And then Alan Sugar was essentially the Donald Trump figure for the UK's version of The Apprentice. So Trump Tackles Sugar. That's how we came up with the title. And like last week's Prerequisites poem, I also specifically started writing this poem with the intention of it being for Spam's themed anthology. So both of those poems came from Spam announcing their anthology, announcing the theme, and asking for submissions. And I think a lot of people go that route in the internet poetry community. We wait for a call to be summoned with an enticing topic, and then we come running with some word vomit on the pages. So I'm just lucky enough that I managed to get 2 in there, especially this one. My goodness. So originally the idea was actually for it to be a short story, which, is stupid because spam takes poetry. So I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, it was about a very near future, 2028 to be precise, where Donald Trump is disgraced and he time travels back into time onto an old set of the UK Apprentice. And essentially he causes a large amount of envious havoc and death. Things get violent. Yeah, as we see that Trump is capable of. And then there's another similar deathly scene in the story, which instead takes place within the present future, if that makes sense to you, in terms of when the story is set, 2028. So the way I went about writing it is I wrote the outline for the story in my notes, with a few of the important scenes and quotes that I'll use within the story, the main points. It's a good way to start writing something. A lot of the time, you got to jot down the notes, sort of like a mood board of words. Like what are the things, what are the points that you want to hit? What are the words that make you feel a type of way about it? What are the inspirations for the story? Sometimes it can just be one line, and that brings about an entire story. And in this circumstance, the entire poem is based around one line, pretty much. I'll talk about that in the end. So I actually decided after writing the notes that, even though they were pretty half-baked, I thought they were actually really funny just on their own. I jotted them down. I looked at it. I, thought about it a little bit, and I can't remember if I changed it a little bit or what. I probably changed it a little bit. The idea probably evolved. But yeah, I thought, hey, this is kind of funny. And why am I writing a short story when it's for a poetry anthology? So I instead decided to send the notes as they were to spam. And as I just realized, there was also a typo in them, which is not on purpose. But anyway, I was very happy to have it accepted, and that they were excited, and that they put it on the front page of all the things, or the first page rather. So yeah, I think spam's probably one of the only places that would ever accept such a lazily sprung, I don't know how to describe it. I'm going to say meta poem narrative. I'm quite happy with that phrase. A lazily sprung meta poem narrative. I think that's the most honest I could be about it, maybe. Most generous I could be. But I say that, of course, with a lot of peace and love, The people at spam, they're certainly risk takers and innovators in the internet poetry game. And I like to think that I've learnt from them and from my colleagues to do the same type of things within my own work. So the motivation for the poem itself is once again about the corruption of power and greed. And this time specifically it is through the character of Trump. Like I said earlier, he gets upset and angry that he was perceived negatively by the world after a better president came along. And another celebrity president at that, just to rub it in a little bit more, Kanye West. So in true Trump fashion, he decides to throw all of his toys out of the pram when he doesn't get his way. And he acts selfishly, with callous disregard for human life. Even ending up killing young hopefuls who are working for a better future. And thus, once again, as he did in the real world, he forcefully enacts transgression, as one would expect from a man with no real values other than those that satisfy self-interest. So yeah, there isn't really much more to say about the poem. It's another kind of short one. But I will note that I made a few predictions, of course, for going up until 2028 in the poem, because it's about these pop culture figures like Trump and such. So I got a few of the predictions wrong. For example, Donald Trump didn't end up serving a second term as the president. It's pretty based. I was glad to get that wrong. And Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, he didn't end up changing his name to Christian genius billionaire Kanye West. And he didn't get elected as the president of the United States either, yet. Who knows, he may run again. And instead of bringing a time of peace and prosperity, which is what I wrote in the story, he becomes president and brings peace and prosperity. He seemingly kind of brought more divide and drama than unity. So even without becoming president, he just, during his campaign. So anyway, with all that being said, like I stated earlier, there is one passage, one line that I think withstood the test of time in this poem. And it is Donald Trump's witty words that he says to Alan Sugar. So I'm going to get to reading the poem now, and I hope you all enjoy it. This is Trump Tackles Sugar. It is the future, maybe 2028. Donald Trump is lame and forgotten after serving his second term, and is now, during his 6-hour morning TV viewing sessions, the last person alive still watching television, by the way, having to watch a much more successful president in Christian genius billionaire Kanye West, serving his second term as he reinvigorates true American Christian values and brings about global peace and prosperity, the likes of which we've never seen. Anyway, Trump time travels into the UK Apprentice 2010, appearing in the London bakery, just as Alan Sugar is about to introduce the next challenge for episode 3, involving the production, of course, of baked goods. "Well now, this is sweet, even for you, Alan." Then Donald pounces across the set, overpowering Alan Sugar, forcing his head into an industrial-sized oven as he screams for mercy, offering him money. Either that idea, or sticking with the future theme, The Apprentice UK is attempting to distance itself from Trump and the original model of the show, as Trump was a violent criminal during his second term as president. So now, in the year 2028, the show's contestants are all young innovators and entrepreneurs, given a platform to promote their world-saving ideas. Trumpy Boy once again portals onto the set and starts mercilessly shooting the upcoming inventors, among them the next Elon Musk-level Egyptian boy, a bright young woman with the means to clean the entire Earth's oceans, and a trans male philosopher with a book that is described as the modern Bible. That is the end. Just realized as well, this was, I wrote this a little bit before Elon Musk went off the deep end. I think my music just turned off. Or did my headphones just turn off? Sorry, that threw me off. There we go. Yeah, so this was before Elon Musk became a meme, I think, when I wrote this. Obviously nowadays, yeah, Elon Musk before was like this guy who obviously had electric cars and solar panels and things and wanted to help humanity, and now he's more of like a meme coin promoting billionaire who's sort of conspiracy theorist with COVID vaccines. And yeah, I don't know. It's a mess. So anyway, that's about all I've got to say for today. So thanks for joining for another episode of Polly Podcast. And let me know if you want to hear from anyone in particular for a next interview maybe. Or if you yourself would like to be interviewed. Something to think about. So anyway, thank you, and might just see you next time. Bye-bye.